This is a French fairy tale. The Enchanted Watch. There was once a wealthy man who had 3 sons. He sent the eldest son to travel and explore the world when they were grown. After 3 years, the son returned home dressed in fine clothing. His father, proud of him, threw a grand feast in his honor and invited all their family and friends to celebrate. When the celebrations were over, the second son asked the father for permission to travel and see the world. The father was delighted by the request and gave him plenty of money for the journey, saying, "If you behave as well as your brother, I will honor you in the same way." The young man promised to do his best, and his behavior was exemplary for 3 years. When he returned home, his father was so proud of him that his welcome feast was even grander than the one held for his brother. The third brother, Yenick, was considered the most foolish of the 3. At home, he did nothing but sit by the stove and get covered in ashes. Still, he asked his father for permission to travel for 3 years. "Go if you want, you fool, but what good will it do you?" his father replied. The young man ignored his father's advice as long as he got permission to leave. Happy to see him go, the father gave him a generous amount of money for his expenses. One day, during his travels, Yannick came across a meadow where some shepherds were about to kill a dog. He asked them to spare the dog and give it to him instead. They agreed, and the dog began to follow him. A bit further on, he found a cat that someone was about to kill. He begged for its life as well, and the cat joined him. Later, he came upon a serpent who was also about to be killed. He saved it too, and it joined the group. Now there were 4 of them, Yenick leading, followed by the dog, then the cat, and finally the serpent. The serpent said to Yenick, "Follow me wherever I go." It was autumn, and the snakes hid in their holes. But this serpent searched for his king, the ruler of all snakes. He said, "My king will be upset with me for being away so long. Everyone else is settled for the winter, and I'm very late. I'll have to explain the dangers I faced and how, without your help, I would have lost my life. The king will ask what he can give you in return, so ask for the watch hanging on the wall. It has amazing powers. Just rub it and you can get anything you want." No sooner said than done, Yenick became the owner of the watch. As soon as he stepped outside, he decided to test its powers. Feeling hungry, he thought how nice it would be to enjoy a loaf of fresh bread, a steak of good beef, and a flask of wine while sitting in the meadow. He scratched the watch, and in an instant, everything appeared before him. He was overjoyed. Evening came, and Yenick looked at his watch, wishing for a room with a comfortable bed and a good supper. Suddenly, they appeared before him. After eating, he went to bed and slept soundly until morning, as any honest man should. Then he set off for his father's house, thinking about the feast waiting for him. However, when he arrived wearing the same old clothes as when he had left, his father became furious and refused to help him. Yenick returned to his usual spot by the stove, getting covered in ashes, though no one paid any attention to him. On the 3rd day, feeling bored, he decided it would be nice to have a 3-story house filled with beautiful furniture and silver and gold items. So he rubbed the watch, and everything appeared. Yenick then went to find his father and said, "You didn't give me a welcome feast, but let me host one for you. Come and see my tableware." The father was amazed and wanted to know how his son had become wealthy. Yenick didn't answer but asked him to invite all the family and friends to a big feast. The father invited everyone to the celebration, and they were amazed by the splendid decorations, the abundance of silverware, and the many fine dishes on the table. After the first course, Yenick asked his father to invite the king and the princess. He used his magic watch to summon a grand carriage decorated with gold and silver, pulled by 6 horses, with harnesses sparkling with precious stones. Feeling unworthy of such a luxurious coach, the father walked to the palace on foot. The king and the princess were astonished by the beauty of the carriage and immediately agreed to attend Yannick's banquet. Yenick then used his watch again to pave the 6-mile road to the house with marble. The king was utterly amazed. He had never traveled on such a magnificent road before. When Yenick heard the carriage wheels, he rubbed his watch. He wished for an even more magnificent house, 4 stories tall, decorated with gold, silver, and damask, and filled with extraordinary tables covered in dishes no king had ever tasted. The king, queen, and princess were stunned. They had never seen such a grand palace or such an extravagant feast. During dessert, the king asked Yennick's father if he would allow Yenick to marry the princess. The arrangement was quickly made, and the wedding happened immediately. The king returned to his palace, leaving Yenick and his new wife to live happily in the enchanted house. Yenick wasn't very clever, and before long his wife grew bored of him. She asked how he built palaces and acquired many valuable things. Yenick told her about the magic watch, and she didn't rest until she had stolen it. One night she took the watch, rubbed it, and wished for a carriage pulled by 4 horses. With the carriage, she immediately set off for her father's palace. Once there, she summoned her attendants, told them to join her in the carriage, and headed straight to the seaside. Then she rubbed the watch again, wishing for a bridge to cross the sea and a magnificent palace to rise in the middle. Instantly, her wishes came true. She entered the palace, rubbed the watch again, and the bridge disappeared as if it had never existed. Left on his own, Yenick felt miserable. His parents, brothers, and everyone else laughed at him. The only companions he had left were the cat and dog whose lives he had saved. Taking them with him, Yenick decided to leave, unable to stay with his family. After traveling far, he came to a vast desert and noticed some crows flying toward a mountain. One was lagging, and when it finally arrived, the others asked why it was late. "Winter is here," they said, "and it's time to fly to other countries." The crow explained that it had seen the most incredible house ever built in the middle of the sea. When Yenick heard this, he immediately guessed that his wife must be hiding there. He went straight to the shore with his dog and cat. Once on the beach, he said to the dog, "You're a great swimmer, and you," he said to the cat, "are small and light. Jump onto the dog's back, and he'll take you to the palace. When you get there, the dog will hide near the door, and you must sneak inside and try to find my watch." As soon as it was decided, the 2 animals crossed the sea. The dog hid near the house, while the cat slipped into the princess's chamber. The princess recognized the cat immediately and guessed why it had come. She took the watch to the cellar and locked it in a box. But the cat managed to squeeze into the cellar, and as soon as the princess turned her back, it scratched the box until it made a hole. And then the cat grabbed the watch with its teeth and waited quietly for the princess to return. As soon as she opened the door, the cat darted outside with the watch in tow. As soon as the cat passed through the gates, she told the dog, "We're going to cross the sea, so don't talk to me." The dog took this seriously and stayed quiet, but as they approached the shore, he couldn't help but ask, "Do you have the watch?" The cat remained silent, worried that he might drop the talisman if he spoke. Once they reached the shore, the dog asked the question again. "Yes," said the cat. The watch fell into the sea, and the 2 friends immediately started blaming each other. Both stared sadly at the spot where their treasure had disappeared. Suddenly, a fish appeared near the edge of the water. The cat grabbed it, thinking it would make a good supper. "I have 9 little children," the fish pleaded. "Please spare me." "All right," said the cat, "but only if you help us find our watch." The fish completed their task and brought the treasure back to their master. Yenick rubbed the watch and wished for the palace, the princess, and everyone inside to be swallowed by the sea. It happened instantly. Yenick returned to his parents, and together with his watch, cat, and dog, he lived happily ever after. Some main themes in our story: karma and moral reciprocity, Yennick's actions of saving the dog and the cat and the serpent highlight the importance of compassion and selflessness, His kind deeds are eventually rewarded, implying a cosmic balance where good actions lead to favorable outcomes. Power and responsibility. Yannick's use of the magic watch reflects themes of wielding power and the consequences of one's choices. His ability to summon wealth and grandeur through the watch suggests the magical idea of manifesting desires, and it also underscores the need for wisdom and responsibility in handling such magical power. Transformation and redemption. Yenick begins as a seemingly foolish and disregarded figure, but transforms into someone capable of achieving great things. And this theme suggests the potential for growth and change, even in those who are underestimated. Materialism versus true fulfillment. The story juxtaposes material wealth and grandeur with Yannick's lack of intelligence or emotional depth, ultimately leading to dissatisfaction in his marriage. This reflects the metaphysical question of whether material possessions alone can bring happiness or fulfillment. The interconnectedness of life. By helping the animals, Yenick unwittingly changes his life trajectory. This highlights an interconnectedness between all beings, reinforcing the idea that small, seemingly insignificant actions can ripple outward and have profound effects. Some symbols. The magical watch represents the power of intention, will, and control over one's reality. It symbolizes the ability to manifest desires and shape destiny when used wisely. The bridge and palace in the sea symbolizes the creation of extraordinary possibilities and achievements when one is determined to use their resources like the watch effectively. However, it also implies isolation or detachment from others when misused for selfish purposes. The cat and the dog embody loyalty, teamwork, and resourcefulness. They represent the importance of companionship and trust in overcoming challenges, even when others abandon you. The princess could signify fleeting desires or attachments. Her actions suggest the consequences of selfishness and deceit, ultimately leading to loss and destruction. The crow's message acts as an omen or messenger of truth, guiding Yenick to the hidden palace. The crow signifies intuition and the discovery of hidden knowledge. The fish is a symbol of grace, forgiveness, and the interconnectedness of life. The fish's plea and willingness to help highlight the value of compassion and mutual aid in achieving goals. The loss and recovery of the watch reflects the themes of mistakes, accountability, and redemption. Losing the watch teaches the characters the importance of vigilance and humility, while its recovery demonstrates the power of persistence and second chances. The submersion of the palace represents the ultimate consequence of selfish pursuits and deceit. It's a reminder that true happiness comes not from material gain, but from living with integrity and unity. Yannick's return home symbolizes reconciliation, self-discovery, and finding happiness in simplicity and authentic relationships rather than in grand ambitions or possessions. The dog and cat's role in the watch's retrieval symbolizes the strength of cooperative efforts and how even the smallest or overlooked beings can play critical roles in achieving success. This story has many different incarnations, and the serpent is almost always a character, even though all the other symbols change. And the serpent in this story symbolizes guidance and wisdom and reward for kindness. By saving the serpent, Yenick demonstrates compassion, which leads to the serpent guiding him to the Snake King and helping him acquire the magical watch. Remember, it's the serpent's idea for him to ask for the magical watch. This symbolizes how acts of kindness can lead to unexpected opportunities and rewards. Additionally, the serpent serves as a bridge between Yannick's seemingly foolish nature and the transformative power of the magical watch, emphasizing the value of trust and following guidance. You can find so many more symbols within this wonderful French tale, The Magic Watch. I sure hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, blessed be.